Close your eyes, take a slow breath in, and let it out. Tonight you are going somewhere very far away, not in distance, but in time. You are going to the north of England. In the year 1843, a mill town, brick and soot and the smell of coal smoke on cold air, a place of hard work and simple evenings, of crowded terraced houses and the steady heartbeat of the looms. There is something calming in that steady rhythm, in the ordinariness of it all. There is no glamour here, no drama, only the quiet weight of an ordinary day, a day lived close to the ground, close to the fire, close to sleep. Let your breath slow down now, let your shoulders drop, let your hands go still, and simply listen. It is dark when you wake. The window above the bed shows nothing but black, and the faint orange smear of a gas lamp somewhere down the lane outside. You are lying on a narrow bed, the mattress filled with flocking, firm and worn into the shape of many mornings, a rough gray blanket over you, heavy and warm. The room is small, the ceiling low, the plaster walls close on both sides. You share this room with the sound of another person breathing deeply nearby, still asleep, the steady in and out of someone who does not yet know it is morning. The air is cold at your face, but warm beneath the blanket. You stay still for a moment longer, just breathing. The gas lamp outside sends a thin line of amber light through the gap in the curtain. It moves very slightly, as if the flame breathes. You can hear the distant clatter of boots on cobblestones. Someone is already on their way. The early ones, the furnace men who must be there before any of the rest. But not yet for you. You lie in the warmth a little longer, listening to the dark. You rise slowly. You sit at the edge of the bed and feel the cold floorboards through your stockings. The bedroom is just large enough for the 2 beds and a small chest of drawers, a jug and basin on top of it. The water inside already cold from the night. You splash a little water on your face and hold the moment, the shock of cold, and then the stillness after. You pull on your clothes in the dim light, a heavy cotton shirt, thick trousers, a waistcoat of brown wool, a jacket over that. You lace your boots slowly, each one in turn, the leather stiff in the cold. You go downstairs. The staircase is narrow. The treads creak in the same places they always creak. You know each one without thinking. The kitchen is the whole of the ground floor. It smells of yesterday's coal smoke, and a faint sweetness from the bread tin on the shelf. The range is cold. You crouch beside it and open the iron door. Inside, the ash is still faintly warm from last night's fire. You rake it gently, set a few pieces of coal, a handful of slack, and strike a match. The flame catches, small and shy at first. Licking at the edges of the coal, you wait, and slowly, the range begins to tick and warm. You fill the small kettle from the tap at the back of the house, the cold water running clear and loud into the metal spout. You set it on the range, and then you sit in the wooden chair by the window and wait for the water to boil. The street outside is coming awake, slowly, lanterns moving at the far end of the lane. A cart horse somewhere a few streets away, the sound of its hooves muffled and slow on the wet stone. The tea is strong and very hot. You wrap both hands around the mug and drink it standing at the door. It is just before 5 in the morning. The lane outside is narrow. The terraced houses on either side press close together, their brick walls dark with years of soot and rain. The window frames painted dark green or dark brown or black, all the same colors in the gray half-light. The cobblestones are wet. They gleam faintly under the gas lamps, each stone slightly different in its rounding, worn smooth by decades of boots and hooves and iron wheels. You step out into the cold. Your breath makes a pale cloud in front of you. The air smells of coal and damp brick, and the faint sweetness of something baking somewhere, a bakehouse starting its morning bread. You walk. Your boots on the cobblestones make a steady sound. A familiar rhythm, click-click, click-click, each step placed carefully on the uneven stones. Other workers move along the same lane, not talking much, just moving, heads down against the cold, hands in pockets, the orange glow of a pipe in someone's mouth ahead of you. You pass a row of identical houses, their chimneys all beginning to smoke now, thin threads of gray rising into the dark blue of early morning, rising and spreading and blurring into one another above the rooftops. The mill is not far. You can already hear it. A low sound at first, felt more than heard. A deep vibration in the air, like a distant drumming, steadier than anything natural. The sound of great machines that never stop. The mill sits at the end of the lane, beyond a low bridge over the canal. It is enormous. Even now, even knowing it well, you notice its size for a moment as you approach. The sheer bulk of the brick walls, 6 stories of dark windows rising up into the pale sky. The chimney stack above everything, impossibly tall, already breathing a thick column of dark smoke into the morning. The gates are open. Workers stream through, dozens of them, men and women and older children, all moving in the same direction. Through the arch in the brick wall and across the yard toward the mill doors, you join them. The yard is paved with stone sets. Your boots ring against them differently here. A harder sound, more precise. The air near the mill is warmer than the street. You can feel it on your face. A warmth that comes from the engines below, from the boilers that have been burning since 3 in the morning. You file in through the door. The warmth hits you first, then the sound. The noise is something you never fully get used to, even after years. The looms fill the room from wall to wall, row upon row of them. Great wooden and iron machines, each one taller than a man. The shuttles flying back and forth so fast you can barely see them. The heddles rising and falling. The whole room vibrating with a deep mechanical rhythm. Clack-clack-clack, clack-clack-clack. The sound fills your chest. It is so constant that after a few minutes it becomes something like silence, a kind of white noise that you stop hearing and simply feel. The air is warm and thick. Fibers float in it. Cotton fluff drifting like slow snow through the light from the high windows, settling on your jacket, on your hair. The smell is oil and hot metal and something dusty and organic. The smell of raw wool and cotton and the tallow used to lubricate the great wooden beams. You take your place at your frame, and you begin. The rhythm of the work is familiar. Your hands know what to do without your mind directing them. You watch the threads, attend to the tension, move when you need to move, and let the rest of the world fall away behind the steady mechanical heartbeat. Clack-clack-clack, clack-clack-clack. The hours pass in the rhythm of the looms. You do not think of much. There is a kind of peace in that, a kind of rest within the work, your hands moving without thinking, your eyes watching without analyzing, just doing, just being present to the one task in front of you. The high windows fill slowly with gray light as the morning advances. At 7, a boy comes around with mugs of tea, sweet and very strong. You drink it quickly, still standing, still watching the threads. At 8:30, the overlooker walks the room once, checking the frames. He nods at yours and moves on. That is enough. The light changes through the windows. The gray softens to something a little warmer. Clouds moving across the high pale sky outside. You can see a slice of that sky through the upper panes. Just a narrow strip, gray-blue and still. Somewhere out there, beyond the brick and the smoke and the machinery, the canal runs between its stone banks. The water reflecting the sky, cold and quiet, But in here, the warmth is steady, and the rhythm is steady, and the work continues. Clack, clack, clack. At noon, the machines stop. The silence, when it comes, is startling. You almost sway in it for a moment, a half-second of dizziness as your body adjusts to the stillness. Then everyone moves. You take your bread from your jacket pocket, a thick slice wrapped in a cloth, a piece of cold boiled potato, and a bit of hard cheese. You walk out through the mill yard and across the bridge to the towpath. The canal is still. The water is dark and perfectly flat, reflecting the sky above, the soft gray of midday clouds, and on either side, the dark reflections of the mill walls, the warehouses, the narrow boats moored along the bank. One of the narrow boats is moving, very slowly, pulled by a horse walking steadily along the towpath on the far bank, a woman standing at the tiller, a small dog sitting on the roof. The boat so laden with coal that its sides are barely above the water level. You sit on the stone coping of the bank and eat. The air down here smells different. Damp stone and water and coal dust from the barges. The wet rope smell of the mooring lines. Something green underneath it all. The smell of the canal itself. Cold and ancient and always moving somewhere else. A duck paddles along the far edge of the bank, methodical and unhurried, its head bobbing gently with each stroke. The sounds are soft here, the water lapping at the stone, a rope creaking against an iron ring, the distant sound of the town, and above it all, silence, a moment of quiet in the middle of the day. You chew slowly, watch the duck, watch the sky in the water, and breathe. The second half of the day passes more slowly. You return to your frame after the bell, and the machines begin again, and the room fills once more with their great mechanical heartbeat. But the afternoon light is different. It comes through the high windows at a lower angle now, cutting across the dust in the air at a slant, making each floating fiber visible for a moment before it drifts on. The light is the color of old brass, warm and thick. Around 3 o'clock, the room takes on a particular quality, a heaviness that is not unpleasant. Your hands still move, your eyes still watch, but there is a softness to everything. The steam pipes along the wall hiss gently. The warmth from the boilers below fills the floor and rises slowly. Your feet are warm in your boots. Your shoulders have found the rhythm, and the afternoon slows. Clack, clack, clack. Clack, 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 almost like a breath, almost like a heartbeat. At 6 o'clock the bell rings. The machines slow, shudder, and stop. The sudden silence rings in your ears for a moment, and then the room fills with the sound of people, voices after 7 hours of near silence, the scrape of stools, the rustle of jackets. You move with the crowd out through the mill doors and into the evening air. The cold comes as a relief. The sky above the mill yard has turned a deep blue in the east, and in the west, over the rooftops and chimneys, there is still a line of faint orange, the last of the day's light holding on before the dark comes in. The gas lamps along the lane are already lit, each one a small globe of amber light, warm and still. The flame inside perfectly steady behind its glass. Your boots on the cobblestones again. Click, 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 click. The familiar walk home. The same lane, the same houses, the same damp smell of coal and stone and chimney smoke. But now there are smells of cooking too. Stew and bread and boiled vegetables drifting from the houses on either side. Windows glowing warm from within. Curtains not yet drawn. Brief glimpses of firelight on a wall. A woman standing at a range. A man reading at a table. You walk steadily, not hurrying. Tired, but not unpleasantly so. The tiredness of someone who has done what they came to do. The house is warm when you come in. The range in the kitchen has been going for an hour already. The room full of steam and the smell of a pot on the boil. You hang your jacket on the hook behind the door. Pull off your boots and set them by the range to dry. The fire in the small parlor grate is lit. A modest fire, coal glowing red-orange in the iron basket. The light it throws is yellow and soft, moving on the walls and ceiling. You sit in the chair beside the fire, and for a long moment, you do nothing at all. Just sit. Just feel the warmth. The chair is old. Its stuffing worn into the shape of the people who have sat in it before you. It receives your weight with a familiar creak, settles around you. The fire snaps and shifts. A small blue flame runs along the edge of a piece of coal and then disappears. The clock on the mantelpiece ticks, steady and quiet. Everything in the room is still. Later, the parlor fire has burned down to embers. You have lit the candle on the small table by your chair. Its flame is very still in the quiet air, perfectly upright, casting a circle of warm light that barely reaches the walls. Beyond the candle's light, the room is dark and soft. The curtains are drawn against the night. The street outside is quiet now, a cart passing somewhere distant, the sound of a dog. Then nothing. You are very tired. Not the sharp tired of a body refusing to work, but the deep tired of a body that has done enough. The pleasant heaviness in your arms, the warmth behind your eyes. The way your breathing has slowed down without you asking it to. The candle flame wavers slightly. You watch it, just the flame. The way it narrows at the base and widens and tapers to a point at the top. The inner blue, the outer gold, the faint shimmer of heat in the air above it. Very beautiful in a very simple way. The clock ticks. The embers in the grate glow and fade and glow very faintly. Outside, the town sleeps. The mill stands dark and quiet at the end of the lane. Its great machines still for once, waiting in the dark for morning. But morning is very far away. And right now there is only this. The small flame, the warm dark, your breath, going slower and slower and slower still. You do not need to move. You do not need to do anything at all. Only breathe and let the candle watch over you. As the night deepens and the world grows very still and you drift gently.